And welcome to the What podcast.
It's a goof troop and you always stick together. It's the goof troop, the best of friends forever.
That's it, 100%.
Did you even know that?
No, I don't.
That's what it is.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
We are your hosts, Eric and Kyle, now that he's done joining the Goof Troop. And we are excited to get back together in our studio, aka Rickie's spare bedroom. And
it's a good place.
An undisclosed location is
Yes.
the official name of this. And to talk pop culture stuff. I mean,
it's what we do.
It's what we do. Literally, that's pretty much the basis of our friendship. I mean, there's a lot of things that our friendship is based on. You know, we went to church together, we went to school together, we played music together. But I think the core of our friendship is the fact that we just talk about a bunch of nerdy,
similar things.
You know, geeky 90s, whatever, comic book. So
Things that we enjoy.
Yeah, things that we enjoy, exactly.
We have our similars.
Yeah, very similar. So.
It's okay. It's okay to have similars and non-similars.
Yes, for example, he likes coffee. And
for example, he likes football.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
I do, don't I? Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah.
That means yes.
Football, see, that means yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like football, okay. I mean...
I've seen on Facebook this past week where that thing's going around the top 10 things you don't like. Like things you don't like that most people do like.
Yes, one of mine would have been coffee. If I were to fill out one of those, and trust me, the temptation has come, where I was like, do I want to fill out these little Facebook things? Because,
Instagram got me hooked last week.
Like, you're doing the song thing.
I am.
I like to do that, too. I just don't know how to do, the whole circle thing that you do.
You literally type in circle, and it pops you up one.
You'll have to
hit a music icon, and it pops up.
We have a fan. Someone's just giving us the hearts and the thumbs up. It's like, thanks.
Tim's at home.
Is it Tim? It looks like
start paying me at some point.
Is that? Yeah. Well, sure, Tim. Mm-hmm. Pay you no mind. Oh. But yeah, you'd have to teach me because I'm just
pretty simple.
You know how you're Twitter illiterate?
Yeah, I don't do Twitter.
I am Instagram illiterate.
See, that's where I hang out. Instagram is my jam.
But the difference is I attempt Instagram where you just don't have any interest in attempting Twitter at all.
I logged into Twitter again to my actual Twitter yesterday, and
did you see all the times I tagged you in a bunch of stuff?
I don't know, but it keeps alerting me every 5 seconds, so I signed back out. I don't want to deal with that.
Of course.
But yeah, that 10 list, I've seen a lot of things that surprised me, and a lot of things that honestly I agree right with. White chocolate would make my list.
Really?
I do not like white chocolate.
Why not? White chocolate is like this.
It's too sweet.
No.
Yeah. Chocolate.
So one of my favorite candy bars growing up was the cookies and cream Hershey bar.
So I don't mind that, but I definitely wouldn't choose that.
Oh man, see, I mean, for me, when you talk about hot chocolate, I want white hot chocolate.
No. That's like a marshmallow in a cup.
Oh, it's delicious. Mm-hmm. It's something I did not get to drink much of this winter because of the diabetes. So,
that's true. But you worked off all this weight.
Yep, and I'm still working it off.
You're allowed things now.
Yes, I am allowed things. For example, I had a graham cracker earlier.
You did.
And it was delicious.
I was going to say you're drinking a cherry Coke right now. But
well, this is a zero sugar. I'm still, not doing the whole sugar in my sodas type thing. Hey, Ronald Johnson's watching. Did you ever get back up with him?
I did. I finally.
Okay, good.
I remembered that you said something like yesterday or the day before.
Tuesday, yeah.
I've seen that.
We were talking, and I was like, "Look, we've got this board here, and we're using my laptop." But Kyle knows all the fun stuff.
I told him? I told him to buy a Blue Yeti.
Yes,
because honestly, that will solve most of his things. If you want to become a podcaster or try things, Blue Yeti is a great place to start.
Yes,
it's not your basic microphone; it's like a step up, but it still super works for beginners and would work for about anything that you want to do. Mostly simple. We kind of had bigger ideas in the beginning.
Yes,
that honestly, it probably would have worked for what we needed. But knowing that there was going to be 2 of us every week, knowing that we wanted to possibly try to add some things in the future, and we just came across the deal on some stuff. So
we kind of looked into this board.
Roger literally messaged me this past week and asked if we were using it or not, because if not, he wanted to buy it back. And I was like, well, actually, we use it every week.
We use it every single week, Roger. So it was a very good investment.
He said he was glad that we were able to use it.
Yes. So. Well, Ronald, if I don't know if Ronald's still able to watch us because of the low network connection, but if you are still watching,
what we need to invest in higher
internet speed for Ricky. Well, if we end up moving to your house, moving to my house, well, even then, I feel like which this might be like a product of the times where I just feel like my internet speeds are dropping, but I think that's something that some people are seeing all over the place just because everyone's on the internet now.
That's true. Everybody's on.
But Ronald, if you're still watching, and you do get your podcast off the ground, then let us know. We'll listen to it. What we'll do. So
fun times.
So what's
in your the top 5 then? So
like my top 5 things that I don't like that most people do like.
So I've already said
yours is hot chocolate and football.
No, I like hot chocolate
or white chocolate. Yeah.
So football and white chocolate.
The coffee's on my list.
Okay. What's one more, and then we'll go back.
Some people I think a lot of people like pickles. And
I like pickles.
I'm not a pickles person. I'm someone who does not get them with my Chick-fil-A sandwich. I don't want them on anything like burger wise. I mean, just no pickles. I'm sorry.
What about sweet gherkins or whatever?
What is that?
They're delicious. I think
it sounds awful.
They're like this big, probably from here to the end of my finger for those that are watching where you can see it. But they're sweet. I don't know. I think you'd enjoy those. We have those at Thanksgiving. They're as a side item in a dish. I get those. Regular ones.
I am always willing to try something at least.
Especially when it's called a sweet gherkin.
I mean,
gherkin's a great name for a
Gherkin's child. A great name for a child, but I don't know if for a food it doesn't sound very appealing.
What if you had twins? Gherkin and Gertrude would be great. Gherkin and Gertrude would be
and you call them Ken and Trudy. It's nicknames. Gherkin and Gertrude, Trudy.
I don't know.
We had a friend who was named after their grandma Gertrude.
Was that what Trudy's name was?
That's where Trudy's name came from. That wasn't her actual. She was actually named Trudy, but she was named after her grandmother Gertrude.
Gertrude.
Yeah. Little insider knowledge there for you.
I didn't know that.
So we have more people watching us. Yeah.
As our connection, so that's fine. Folks, if you're just joining us on Facebook, what we're doing now is we're just doing Facebook Live. We're actually recording our podcast. It's going to come out Monday. We've got it recorded for YouTube. We've got it over here. But feel free to hang out and watch us on the Facebook.
This is our version of the Garth Brooks Trisha Yearbook. What's her last name again? Oh my goodness. Yearwood, there it is. Thing that they did the other night. Last night actually, I think it was.
I didn't.
Well, it was on after Survivor.
Dashboard Confessional Chris Carrabba did a Facebook Live the other day. I watched him and almost cried. It was crazy.
Honestly, we'll get back to our top 5 in a second, I guess. But there's a lot of things that I just do not like about the way things are going in the world with the coronavirus, COVID-19. A lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people getting sick, a lot of people dying. Those are all bad things, and I'm not a fan of those things. If there are any, I'm always trying to look for the positive in things. And it's really cool to see everyone's creative side come out.
That's true.
It's really cool to see a lot of these musicians, whether they be big time names, small time names, whatever, using their platforms to just play music for people and use their gifts, kind of like what you did Sunday.
I did.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
nobody else.
Well, I was going to take the keyboard from the church the other night, and I was thinking about doing something this weekend. But I'm not very good on the keyboard, so.
So you were going to steal one from a church.
I was going to borrow it from the church.
But then when I mentioned there's one available, you say, "Oh, I'm not very good."
Well, I'm not very good. I mean, that's the reason I didn't take it from the church. So, but it's been really cool. I know John Foreman has done a song every night since this has started. Lauren Daigle has been doing some Facebook or some Instagram Live. She was doing Instagram Live earlier. She was praying while I was getting a shower earlier. And it was really, really cool just to hear her just praying for people. Jess Ray, who's a local musician from the Raleigh area, she did a little live concert Tuesday night after we were done. I think that was kind of playing like we were the opening act, and then Jess Ray and her husband did some stuff.
Like Casey Allen did something the other week. Another friend, Jeffrey, did one. Julie was telling me that Death Cab for Cutie was doing it, so I went and listened, and it turns out he'd been doing it every day that week, or this week, or last week. So I went and watched him.
Ring Collective's been doing some stuff. Casting Crowns did a live concert at their home. For King and Country's been doing some stuff. I mean, it's really cool to see all the different genres. I'm waiting for Need to Breathe to do something because they're brothers. I mean, they can get together.
Maybe they're staying 6 feet apart.
Maybe they are, but even in Bear Reinhardt, he did some solo stuff too. I mean, under the name, oh my goodness, what name was he did some solos recently? It was Wilder Woods.
No,
and it was really really neat stuff. So I mean, I'd love to see him do some of his solo stuff too. So
Chris Carrabba from Dashboard did one. I think it was 2 nights ago. I think he had been doing it, but he did the whole Hands Down EP, which is on 3 or 4 songs.
Right.
But by the end of it, he was about tearing up. And I was too. It was crazy. Like sitting on the living room floor, like playing with my dog and feel like Chris Cross was just singing to me. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
What are some other things on your little top 5 things that people mainly like but you don't?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah,
well, put you on the spot.
Well, yeah, I turned it around because I don't know what my other 3 are. Like I'd have to really think about it. So
something that I don't necessarily hate, but like modern music, I listen very little to.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
and I don't mean that like as it's not any good. Because there is stuff, but I feel like I'm just stuck in a habit of listening to music from like the 90s and 2000s.
See, I'm kind of like that with a lot of like Game of Thrones. A lot of people love Game of Thrones. And
I've seen one episode.
And it was here at Rickie's house, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I saw one episode too. It was at Rickie's house when he had an HBO free weekend. I don't like Game of Thrones. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I probably could have gotten into it, but the way people rave about it.
Well, I feel like the same way though. That, like if you would catch me, I'd rave about Breaking Bad.
But I love Breaking Bad.
But I didn't like it after the first episode. I watched an episode. It's not I didn't like it. I just didn't really care. And it took me a couple months to come back. But once I came back, then I was like hooked on it.
For me, it's really, and I'm just going to contradict everything I've ever told you about trying to get into like psych and community and stuff. But I'm just not excited about watching anything new at this point. Like
I watch stuff all the time.
I mean, like you would think
documentaries and stuff.
You would think like with the whole quarantine stuff, like there's so many things on Hulu and Netflix and all this other stuff that I would get it. You know, I'll start a new series. No, I'm just not. I don't want to get invested in it.
I thought we started a couple.
So
911. We got started on 911 with. That's pretty good. I think we finished season 2.
You're talking about the show. I didn't know if we need to call 911.
No,
I love Rescue 911. You grew up on that show.
A different show now.
Oh.
It's similar. Like it's not
real live, not like live PD.
No, but even then it wasn't either. It was reenactments.
It was reenactment. Okay, never mind.
So like it's similar in the way now that 911 it followed a dispatcher, but it kind of showed you there beyond just things that went on. They kind of had a little bit of a story of the people that are police officers and fire department people too. Like you see their backstory.
That's fair.
So it's pretty good. It's got Raina James from Nashville on it.
I heard Ronda Rousey had like a recurring role.
She is. She was in season 2.
Okay, that's cool.
Erica made fun of her faces. Because that's what Ronda Rousey does. She does a lot of faces.
She does do a lot of faces.
Like we were watching her in wrestling. Erica hated her, but then we started watching Total Divas and Erica started to like her because you saw like who she really was versus who she was pretending to be on TV. So, I don't know. Fun time.
Fun times in the neighborhood.
What about you? I just said one. What's one of
yours? I gave you one. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Friends. I don't really care for Friends. That's fine. Like, I've seen like maybe a handful of episodes. It's just not my thing.
I was watching it before I left the house.
That's okay.
It was on TBS. I was like watching it on the.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my thing. Same way last week you said Nickelback was your thing.
No, I did not say that.
Not my thing.
No, Nickelback is not my thing. Don't you dare put that evil on me, Douglas Kyle Whitley. No.
You have to go back and
don't think so
to see if he really said that.
No, I said there was one song that was a guilty pleasure song of mine that didn't even make my top 5, by the way. Okay, so
it made your top 6.
It was
the one hanging on the bubble.
Yeah, maybe it's hanging on by a moment here with Nuts Lifehouse.
I love how you're watching yourself. You're watching yourself.
Am I?
It says Eric Creech is watching.
I'm not watching.
Maybe it's behind, or someone else stole your identity.
Maybe.
I got kicked off Instagram today. Though. Beards and Boosted. We didn't get kicked off.
Why?
We can't do anything till the 9th. We deleted too many people.
Wow.
So
I didn't know you could.
Well, like Instagram updated this thing now. Like people, sorry, Brett. This is different than our normal podcast. We've just been talking about it. It's kind of fun, but yeah, on Instagram they updated this thing where you can see your followers and like the ones that do least amount of interacting with you. Mm-hmm. We were following like 5,000 people, and so we were trying to get rid of some people that we weren't really interacting with, so we could free up some space. And evidently, we deleted too many people. It made me change my password today, or Jonathan technically had to do it. And
that's crazy.
But yeah, I tried to respond to somebody's comment on her picture today, and it told me, "No, you're not allowed."
Nope, not allowed. You're in Instagram jail now for a week. Wow,
it's still there. You can comment on it,
but you just can't. You know,
Jonathan sent.
So your Instagram is in quarantine right now. 7 days.
Well, Jonathan replied back to him because if there's an error, you can tell them why. Because they're saying we're using some outside app, like some other app, to like make us gain followers, but. We didn't gain anybody. We just used it. We didn't even use an app. We just were using their own app to delete things. So
fair enough.
Jonathan talked to him. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Either way, I said Friends. What's another one you don't really care for?
See, while you're talking, I should be thinking of things.
Mm-hmm. Things don't happen that way. We think about responding to each other instead of what our things are. So let's recap real quick. We're talking about how that list has been going on Facebook. Top 10 things that you don't like that probably most people do. So for me, we said white chocolate, football, Friends. Did I say anything else so far? I feel like I had one.
Football, white chocolate, Friends.
Music, modern music.
Modern music was your fourth one, yeah.
Yeah. If you're watching online, feel free to join in. I know our connection's going on and off a little bit, but
swimming in the ocean.
I get it. Somebody else said that today too.
Okay.
And somebody else responded.
I like the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to love going into the ocean, but there's too many sharks in there now. I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm a person that I'm one way or the other at the beach. Especially now that we can drive the Jeep on the beach, I love going to the beach and I love hanging out on the beach. I don't like going into the water and then coming back and hanging out on the beach again, because then I get all that sand and all that salt and all the places that it's not supposed to be, and it's a pain.
Yes.
And I'm a big dude, so you're already sweating on top of that.
Already.
So the sand's hitting you and sticking to you, so it's kind of just a gross feeling. I don't mind swimming in there. I am a little more precautious now that I'm a little more wiser in age, but I was the kid that would swim out there and my parents would say, I need you need to be able to stand on your feet, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm 6'2", I could go real far and stand on my feet.
Definitely.
So I did that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm more of a mountains guy anyway. If you were to give me the option of mountains or beach, it would be mountains, especially in the summer, because I feel like I'd rather go to the mountains in the summer when it's cooler in the mountains. Mm-hmm. So you're not dying of heat. And I'd rather go to the beach when it's in the fall. When it's kind of cooler at the beach, and you especially at night,
I'll put my number 5 is I don't really care for summer, because I don't like 100 degrees. I prefer how it feels outside today. Totally would take that any day.
Oh, I would too. I mean, absolutely.
It's 70 something right now, or 60, high 60s.
So summer would be at the bottom tier of your seasons list.
Summer and winter fight it out. Spring and fall are fall's my number 1.
Fall's number
Spring,
1.
Fall's right behind it.
I think spring's my number 2 as well, but I think summer beats winter for me.
It probably does, but there's a thing too of and I don't mean this as a slight against teachers, because I know you do an amazing job, but you at least have summertime off. Now I know you do a lot of other things in that time, so I don't mean that as a slight saying you're not working, but for me, I don't have a summer break anymore. It's just
it's literally I wake up and go to work on Monday,
and it's hot, and it's thankfully for me, I work inside. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for going out, whenever I get home from work and I'm already tired, and then it's you need to cut the grass, and then it's 100 degrees outside, and you got to cut the grass. Plus, I think my biggest thing is, since I have a deviated septum and I have really trouble breathing, that the hotter it gets, the more problems I have breathing. So if I could breathe better, I probably would enjoy summer better. But when it gets really hot like that, it's really hard for me to breathe. And so when it's hard to breathe, it's hard to be happy.
So summer was your 5th one. This is completely off our topic anyway. We're going 18 minutes strong in the in the podcasting area.
Yep.
All right.
What's your recap, real quick?
Okay, so my recap was coffee. Just not a fan. It was Game of Thrones. It was swimming in the ocean. What was the second one? Pickles. And then I'm just gonna go with regular chocolate.
That's weird.
I like it, but I don't love it. Does that make sense?
I'm a chocolate person. All day.
I would rather, if you gave me the option of chocolate and Skittles or something, I'm taking Skittles all day.
Erica's similar. She will take sour stuff all day, over sweets.
Yeah, so
I'm a chocolate person.
Yeah, same. But yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
So there's a little mini podcast for you.
That was the coronavirus.
Yep.
Me and Eric don't see each other as we usually do. So now we're catching up with each other on things that don't really matter. But
absolutely. But today we are going to be talking about a movie that premiered next Tuesday. Will be 25 years. So the day after this podcast will hit on the podcast platforms, be 25 years old. It's called A Goofy Movie.
That's insane to think about. Plus, it's just like the older you get, the more you like don't realize how time is gone.
How old you actually are.
Where like the 90s seems 10 years ago.
Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was 30 years ago.
Yeah,
and
literally
this past Monday. And like I remember watching that as a child, and it's like it doesn't feel like it should be 30 years. I'm sorry.
No.
It doesn't feel like this movie should be 25 years old.
Well, I graduated high school 15 years ago. That sounds insane.
Mm-hmm. I've been teaching for 11 years now.
I've been at Airflow for 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's really stupid. Like last year was my 15-year high school anniversary or whatever. I mean,
it's crazy. Crazy times we're living in.
Like 20 years ago, we were in high school.
Yeah,
that's the insane thing. 20 years ago, it was the year 2000. I was in
middle school.
Well, at this point, I was a freshman in high school. You would be coming in later this year. It's just really, really insane.
I was in 7th grade.
No.
Yep. My sister graduated the year 2000.
Yeah, but you would.
She's 5 years older than me. I was in 7th grade.
Let me do the math.
So I would start 8th grade in 2000.
Okay, maybe I was still in 8th grade at this point then. And I started at the end of 2000.
You would start in 9th grade in 2000.
At the end of 2000, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
That's how math works.
And that's how math works, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Okay?
So back to Goofy.
Anyway, but we are excited to explore a Goofy movie today with this episode. But before we do that, 21 minutes and 43 seconds into the podcast, if you haven't, and we haven't turned you off from all of our coronavirus small talk.
I feel like maybe we should do a separate podcast just called Small Talk.
Just called Small Talk.
That may outshine What the What.
It might. We'd have to maybe come up with a better name like Daigle Bites. Episode 2 was really good this week, by the way. Go check out Lauren Daigle on all podcasting platforms. You can also check us out on all major podcasting platforms. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podbean, Overcast, Castro, Pocket Cast, Podcast Addict, Radio Public, iHeartRadio carries us. We're on YouTube as well. Just make sure you search for What the What Media. All one word. And please rate and review us. Not 1 star. Not 2 stars. Not 3 stars.
5.
Not 4 stars.
I said 5.
If we could make it go higher, we would. But most of these are 5-star reviews. You can say what you want to about us. You can tell us we're the worst people you've ever heard of.
Probably.
But give us that 5-star rating, review us, recommend us to your friends, and talk trash about us after you're done, sharing our stuff.
Those guys are horrible. You should go listen to them.
Yep. Also, you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter at WTW_media. I actually updated it a little bit this week.
Nice.
And we're also on Facebook and Instagram again at What Media, all one word. This episode is also airing on YouTube. Again, once we get to 100 subscribers, we can apply for a custom URL. And I think we're still in the 30s. I mean, which I know we have more listeners than that because according to Podbean, who does our hosting for our podcast, we're getting over 100, and 50 or so listeners a week, which is, I don't know if that's per podcast or if they're just, a bunch of people going back and listening to a bunch of old ones. Now they have nothing else to do, which either way, we're appreciative. But make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe when you see us posting about our YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Also, one more thing, if you like this episode or any of the 41 other episodes, so this is episode number 42.
Nice.
Then we again want to grow the show. Please share this with somebody you think would enjoy it. Maybe it's like someone who's living in your house and they're going to listen to you, to us anyway, because you're going to play it on your Alexa or your Google Play or Google Home or whatever. Because I have a Google Home.
Do you?
I do. Spotify sent me one for free.
Oh, that's nice.
Because apparently I listen to a lot of Spotify. So they say, hey, here's a deal. We're going to send you a Google Home, since you're such a loyal subscriber.
Now they're listening to all your secrets.
Exactly. So I have it in my bathroom. So in the morning when I'm getting ready, I can just play music. And it's really
That's
cool.
what I do with my cell phone.
So that's what I used to do. But, now it's louder.
Maybe that works better. Because, if you try to talk to Siri while you're in the shower, she doesn't hear you very well.
No, Google hears me.
That's what I'm saying.
Google hears me. If a song comes hey, Google, next song. And it'll turn it to the next song, and it's pretty awesome. But maybe someone in your family who's going to listen to us, just tell them to subscribe, and they can listen to us on their own. Maybe you have a friend who's, quarantined right now and needs some good listening material. There's a lot of great podcasts out there, probably better ones than us. I know there's better ones than us, but maybe they want to listen to something stupid.
Here we are.
We are made for that. So
I thought about doing that the other day whenever I did that recording playing. I was like, either I'm going to be serious and do this, or I'm going to dress up stupid and do the worst cover of a song I've ever done in my life.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
Well, if I did that, I probably would have got more views.
Probably.
I could have been a one-hit wonder on YouTube, and then I would just turn that into a franchise. How dumb can you be this week?
We need something to fund the What podcast. Because, we're going almost a year without being funded for this. So we're
technically funded by Airflow Products and Micro Elementary School.
Yeah.
They fund us.
They fund us, then we fund. They're funded by us. So.
Yeah.
Tag us on social media if you end up sharing it with somebody. Let us know, and we'll give you a shout out on the next recording, which is next Thursday. As we're doing this weekly now.
It's fun. We have nothing else to do.
Today's episode is a goofy movie. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! If you have not seen a Goofy movie, maybe you were like me before this past Monday.
It's ridiculous.
Which I realized while watching it, I had seen it.
Good.
Prior to this Monday, I just didn't remember it. But if you haven't seen it, press pause on your podcast player or on your YouTube, or if you're watching us on Facebook Live, then probably not right now, low network connection.
Yeah, we've got a bad connection on the old Facebook, but it's okay.
But yeah, press pause and go to Disney Plus. It's if you're a Verizon customer, you should have it for free. If not, splurge on your $6.99. There's really nothing else to do right now,
especially for what you get.
Exactly. And go watch a Goofy movie. It's only like 72 minutes long, or
it
wasn't a long movie at all. Go watch it. So we won't spoil you, but you have been warned. If you have not seen a Goofy movie, we are going to spoil the heck out of this movie. Because that's the point of this. We're going to talk about it and all the major plot points and stuff. So, Kyle.
Yes.
I don't have any segues.
Great.
Okay. I did not do like my normal script because, even with there being no, me not being able to go to school to do stuff at school as a teacher.
Yes.
I have been doing a lot of stuff through teleworking. So have not had time to put my script together, but let's we don't need no stinking scripts here because we're ready. And so take us away, show us what this Leaning Tower of podcast looks like.
Oh, that's good to see.
Look at that. I know. Look at that. Kevin Strickland's watching.
Great.
Can I hit the wave button?
Yeah, wave at Kevin.
I'm going to wave at Kevin. Hey,
sorry we didn't wave at any of the rest of you.
I just noticed the wave button. So.
Kevin's there. All right. A Goofy Movie is a 1995 animated music comedy filmed, produced by Disney Movie Tunes and Walt Disney Television Animation and distributed by the Walt Disney Pictures.
All right.
The film is based on the Disney afternoon television series Goof Troop and serves as a follow-up to the show.
Nice.
Taking place a few years after the events of Goof Troop, a Goofy movie follows Goofy and his son Max, who is now in high school, and revolves around the father-son relationship between the two, as Goofy takes Max on a fishing trip out of fear that Max is drifting away from him, unintentionally interfering with Max's social life, particularly his relationship with Roxanne.
Roxanne!
There you go.
You don't have to put on the red lights!
Yeah, you tell him. That's exactly what Sting was singing about. He
was singing about a Goofy movie.
He was just a little early to the party.
Roxanne! Okay, so I'll stop.
So first off, did you ever watch Goof Troop growing up?
No.
I'm so sad for you.
Yes, I missed out on a lot of things in childhood.
I realize that every time that we do stuff like this, that it's like, I don't ever want to come across as like the jerk that's like making fun of you for not singing.
Gene Blackburn West is here, by the way.
Nice.
He wants us to know. Hi.
Gene, we're praying for Bill. Hopefully he's back at home and ready and willing. Heart's doing great soon. I know you're keeping us up to date on that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I loved Disney Afternoon. Like, Disney Afternoon was my thing. Like, and not say like others didn't share it, but like every day after school I'd come home.
There were some great shows on the Disney Afternoon. I mean, I do know some of them. I never, like I said, never really watched Goof Troop because again, didn't have Disney Channel. But I did have friends where if I would go to the house after school sometimes, Darkwing Duck was something I remember watching. Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
You're literally reading my list.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the list there, and I'm like, well, yeah, I watched that, and I watched that. Gargoyles. I mean, I remember loving Gargoyles.
DuckTales.
DuckTales. Oh my goodness, yes, I love DuckTales.
See, all those things.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Yes.
So watch out for get sued. Disney will do that.
Disney's not going to sue us.
Who knows?
Actually, they could probably use the money because their parks are closed right now. So,
hey,
but we don't have the money. So if they did sue us, then they would be getting nothing out of us. Anyway.
But either way, yes, I always loved this show. It was something that I just remember watching every day. I would come home, turn that on in my room, and I would play with like my action figures or whatever else, and have that playing at the same time. But it's always, even there's been podcasts about it. There used to be a Disney Afternoon Radio. I think they don't do anything anymore, but they were like always talking stuff like that. I know Saturday Morning Rewind's another great podcast that also interviews a lot of voice actors and people that had a lot to do with Disney Afternoon. Not just Disney Afternoon, but a lot of other things as well.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah. But Jonathan used to work with me.
Yep.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah, his sister's Morgan, right?
Yep.
But
anyway, back to this. So I don't remember when I first saw the movie, but I know it had been around the time that it came out since I was a really big fan of the show. So I feel like whenever this came out too, I had to have probably watched it right around that same time.
Right.
I like the transition you see here between the TV show and then where Max is growing up, because honestly, it's probably right around the same age where we were starting to grow up ourselves and be more of a teenager, more rebellious type of way.
By the time we would have watched this movie, 95, 96, 97, around that time frame, we would have been 9, 10, 11 years old. So, yeah.
I mean, I've been starting middle school like 98 for me. So, I mean, it's not too far off from there.
None.
But, I can't imagine having a dad like Goofy, though. Like, my dad was a businessman.
Right.
So, like, I just can't imagine that. But something I will say about it is I'm really thankful that we got to see a different side of Goofy with this movie.
Yes.
With Goofy, like in the cartoon age, he was always just, hence the name Goofy, but just a guy that did crazy things and had, just crazy antics and things he would get into, little traps and random things he would fall over himself and never like fully recognize all the mess he's just passed through or like been a part of. But with here, we're really seeing a more emotional side where he's very concerned about his son Max.
Yes.
And him growing up, there's that constant thing of him joining a gang. He's worried he's going to join a gang now because Pete's told him that. Now the principal tells him, your son's in trouble. You better do a better job of raising him, or he's going to end up in jail. But
you know what that kind of reminded me of?
What does that remind you of?
The second Santa Claus movie.
I see that.
Whenever Charlie gets on the naughty list,
like
he's breaking into his gym or whatever, and like he's the son of Santa and he's on the naughty list, and like just that kind of idea, like. He could be going down the wrong path, and so just there's a connection in my head there. It's kind of, but just that kind of you said that I was like, you know what, I feel like that's kind of the same. I mean,
even watching it now older, you see Goofy who's trying to do his best to protect his son that loves his son. He's trying to do the best he knows how. Versus when we were younger, we probably sided more with Max. We're like, parents, leave your kid alone.
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, it's like he's not doing anything to get in trouble. Why are you giving him such a hard time? And it's like, well, no, whatever. But something I thought about while I was watching this, and I'll ask you is, did you have anything that you were embarrassed about that your parents may have done? The same way that Max was embarrassed at Goofy.
Okay, so I love my father. Okay, and we've talked about my dad many times on this podcast. He is a wonderful man. He has his flaws like any other person, but he can be a very caring individual. We for years when we would go cut grass, we'd cut grass for these senior citizens, and he would not charge them anything near what we should have charged them if we were getting market price for their yard, just to be nice. Like, he's a really nice person. But Dad, he did not mind embarrassing you in terms of like not like when you're getting in trouble, but like just to embarrass you. Like, I remember 5th grade, Showcase of Stars. Did you do Showcase of Stars?
I did in 5th grade.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have been the same year.
Yeah, so 5th grade, we're standing on stage, and the curtain opens, and it's really, really quiet, and someone yells out "Happy Birthday" to one of the person, someone, one of the people singing with us, someone in 5th grade. I don't remember who it was. And then my dad takes the opportunity, like, "Oh, they're gonna yell. I'm gonna yell too. Go Eric!" And it's like, Dad, stop that. But he would do stuff like that. Yeah. Like, he would be intentionally embarrassing just because he knew it would get on my nerves. So,
Well, maybe you see it that way. Then.
So like my dad, like he, I was telling someone about my dad a couple of months ago about how he tells the corniest, like they're not even dad jokes. They're just really, really just bad jokes.
Just corn.
Like they're just real cornball jokes. Like, and he will laugh at, at just how bad they are, but he will relish telling them. And I love it now. Mm-hmm. I did not love it 20 years ago. So, yeah.
Something I think about with my dad, and this is kind of my next thing was where Max was so embarrassed of his dad's laugh. Well, first off, he's embarrassed of his dad, but like you see a little bit of his chuckle come out, and he's like, "Oh no!" Like covers his mouth, doesn't want to do that. Did your dad have anything like any traits, or even your mom, that maybe you do now that is a reflection of something he did, but it kind of maybe embarrassed you when you were younger? It didn't maybe have to embarrass you, but like some trait that he may have had.
My dad can be very, very loud. Part of that's because he can't hear very well, but I've noticed that whenever I'm like really excited, I can be very loud too.
Maybe it's just because...
But maybe it's because I also can't hear because of all the
maybe you hear fine. It's just all these years of yelling when you got excited that just instilled in you now. Lee, it's good to see you made it.
Good to see you. Thank you for making, welcome to the undisclosed location.
Yes. We used to talk and make fun of my dad, we'd go on trips on the summer, or whatever. And he was a business guy that took all of his work with him. So you'd be at Disney World and he'd be out on the balcony talking to someone. And you could always tell if it was somebody he knew, like that was just, from back home, or if it was a business call. Because we would always make fun of him, say his Raleigh voice, where he would like switch from just being who he was to his very proper voice, his very clear voice, his very like not much Southern accent voice. He would change his voice. I
feel like you've made fun of me for that. My Coach Creech,
that's different.
Like no, not the Coach Creech yelling at you voice, but the like when we're in public and a kid comes up to me and I remember either you or Erica, we were at San Marcos, and kid comes I'm like, oh hey, how are you? It's so good to see you, and you're like, your voice just totally changed mid conversation. You went from Eric to Mr. Creech, and it was.
I'm that way with work, where if somebody calls me, I have to take a second and grab the phone though and be like, okay, get myself gathered and pick up the phone and be like, hey, we're calling here for the products. This is Kyle, and I'll make sure to say Kyle instead of this is Kyle. Because then they'll be like, oh, Carl, great. What, where's Kyle at? And I'm like,
this is Kyle.
Somebody used to call me Steve. And I don't I've had multiple customers somehow take me saying Kyle and turn it into Steve. And I don't know, or maybe Mark. I think it was Mark, not Steve. Either way, I've noticed that I take that, and Erica's made fun of me before too, because she's called that, where I change my voice. Even my coworkers have mentioned that. Because I know I mumble a lot sometimes. Mm-hmm. So whenever I get on the phone, I try to do my best to clarify myself and make sure people can hear me and understand me. So I did take that from my dad, even as much as I made fun of him from that.
Yes.
Did you have any other thoughts before we jump into best scene?
I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I do remember watching it. Like I said, I think I watched it in pieces. I don't remember seeing it all the way through all together. But when I was watching it, I remember seeing, I've seen this scene. It was just a very good reminder of, sometimes, I think sometimes we fear becoming our parents, when we're younger. And
we want to look cool.
That's the thing. We value how we appear to the outside world over the love and the nourishment, and everything that we get from our parents. And so sometimes growing up, we definitely want to turn out like our parents. When the truth is, if your parents are doing a really good job, turning out like your parents is not a bad thing at all. And I think so that message that you kind of get from this movie, where Max is realizing, well, my dad's not that that bad. And
that used to scare the crap out of me, knowing that I was going to have kids someday, and they may be like I was when I was a teenager, and that I would be a jerk, or my kids would be a jerk.
It scares me.
I don't know.
I mean a little bit. I
hope that God blesses me with a kid that I raised them in a way that they just love me and they're thankful for that love in the same way, and then hopefully that teenage moments don't crash so hard, even though I know they will some.
No.
But
if I'm ever blessed with children, and maybe our kids will grow up together, that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah. But by that point, Searching for Solace, our band will have made it big, and we'll have money, and and the podcast will be big, and then we'll be the cool dads, because
because we're doing cool things. We don't
our dads have a YouTube channel. So.
I've thought about that. especially like, and sorry, like we're going on topic again, but
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day somebody was doing a video online of Grover reading a book. Maybe it's Grover or Elmo.
I think Grover, the monster.
Yeah,
at the end of this book. Yeah.
I was like, I should be doing this.
Yeah.
I literally should sit down. I could do that nonstop. I literally was making elephant noises in our meeting last week because I don't know how. By Thursday, you're just drained, and we just talk about nonstop junk in our meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And we got on the topic of what animal noises you can make. So I shut off my elephant, and so it was like, I think I should be doing these type of things on YouTube. That's just random me just playing with puppet. Like I need to get me a Kyle puppet. I talked about this a long time ago, but I'd love to get a Kyle puppet.
Wasn't Rickie supposed to make sock puppets of us?
He was going to make sock puppets, but I would just love to have like a semi-realistic puppet that looks like maybe like a Muppet version of me.
Maybe that can be something we do a Patreon for. Hey, we want Muppet versions of the What podcast.
Maybe that's what Trump's sending us this money for. He's like, hey,
go make you a really nice $1,000 puppet.
Yeah, and then it's like, wait, where's your groceries? And it's like, well, I got this puppet.
Yeah,
well, the puppet leans around the fridge. Well, I don't know. And anyway,
so
we'll jump through all that.
What are your best scenes?
Puppets, but
what are your best scenes?
I think about the first scene. It really stood out to me a lot. Well, at least the first scene where he is at school, where he's been preparing. He woke up late. PJ's already there. He's getting there. His whole point in rushing to school is Powerline is the most coolest popular act.
They are awesome. They are
funny
fantastic.
Part too that's cool about this is last week we were talking about guilty pleasure songs.
Yes.
For us, he's pretty much a boy band singer. He's technically a rapper, but like he's somewhat of a boy band person that us at that age may not have liked. But it seems guys and girls love Powerline. There's no distinction there. But something I love that is he goes into doing this. He sneaks into, it's not necessarily a pep rally, but it's like a big meeting on the last day of school. All the kids are in the auditorium, and him, a Navy guy, and his best friend PJ have rigged up this thing where he's pretty much doing a live music video dressed as Powerline there, all to impress this one girl that he's barely ever talked to. He just wants her to notice him.
And that girl's name was Roxanne.
Yes. First, I made a note of that. It's like, that's a great name. Like, not enough kids are named Roxanne right now.
Well, we can't, we have to wait for that song to be, I guess it's not really popular now, obviously, but the fact that we still know it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to name a kid, if they have a song that would, be related to them in that way.
I always think about what you can shorten their names to be. So if you had a Roxanne, Roxy.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about. But it made me think about middle school for me. Did you ever dream up something like this of how to impress a girl?
Oh, yes.
Do you have any rough idea? I'll tell mine while you think a little bit. I always thought about in middle school, I played in the band and I played guitar, especially by 8th grade, I was getting decent at guitar. And I was like, this would be cool if we could get the band to play, the choir or the chorus, the classroom, whatever, them to sing with it, and I'll play electric guitar with it. And everybody's look how cool I am, because I'm not some horn instrument. I'm a electric guitar. I'm a rock thing. And Metallica had just put out that S&M album where they played with that giant, orchestra or whatever. And so that was it in my mind. It was like, and I don't remember what girl or anybody at that point, but I was like, she's gonna be so interested in me, they're gonna think I'm so cool. And I would dream that up. I pretend to do that at home. I would fake, playing at my house.
Literally, something very similar. We would have the band play in the background, and I would be doing some kind of show, with whatever the song was or whatever. Just to kind of be impressive. I think about it, not necessarily now, but in years past, I'm thinking, when we would be playing music, it's I wonder if this would impress anybody. And it's the answer is no, it probably would not. But
this podcast doesn't really impress anybody.
No, exactly.
There are.
But whenever we play music, whenever we do stuff, I wonder if this is like a checkbox in the good column for me. 'Cause there's not a lot of checks in that box to begin with. So
tons of them.
There's just one or two maybe. I've got a great
solid
beard.
checks.
Got a great beard. So and a really cool hat. So. I've had those daydreams before. It's I think of that Boy Meets World episode where Corey and Sean start a band, but they don't know how to play. That's kind of what it would go in my head.
Spent the whole time planning the band, and then
oh no, we forgot to learn any songs.
Yes.
Exits.
I don't know. It just that stands out to me because that's very real to know that even us when we were kids, we would put so much effort into getting someone to like us.
To impress people.
Yes. And you got to think about that too. As an adult now, it's because of that. There's that part of us now that I'm older, I don't really care to impress people so much. Like, you like me or you don't, like, but don't not like me for something that's not true or whatever.
Exactly.
But for me, and I feel like by some point in high school, I kind of got that way anyway. My parents didn't like it because I was wearing like punk clothes and stuff. But either way, rewind that a little bit. But that's something to keep in mind now. For like, if we deal with some youth, for church.
No, we deal with them all right.
We deal with them. We tell them what so and such forth.
That's right, and henceforth.
Yes, but to always take that consideration of there's that mindset of them right. They're looking for somebody to, approve of them in a sense. They don't understand that sometimes. Yes. They don't necessarily know that that's what they're looking for, but a lot of times that's there. Some other thing in mind. Some other thing is in the very, very, very beginning. They're doing that whole montage song. First off, I forgot to tell you how much of a musical this movie is.
Yeah, a lot of great music in this song, by the way.
But the whole first line, there's a line in the first song, there's that couple people, and they're all talking about what they're excited for because it's the last day of school. And then all of a sudden it says, no more gym, no more gym, no more gym. And then Max gets hit in the face with a jock strap, which you sent me a picture of.
Yes, I did.
Coronavirus, you wear one of those. But I thought about you. It was like, here it is in this movie. They do a 3-part harmony calling it gym and not PE.
They were very misinformed.
I'm surprised you didn't turn the movie off of that.
Well, I thought about it, but I was like, no, I told Kyle I'd watch it, and there's, another 65 or so minutes left, so.
All right, moving forward.
Moving on.
He gets in trouble. He gets called, obviously, at the end of that scene, and he's in the principal's office. I thought, has Eric ever suspended a kid on the last day of school?
Okay, so a couple things. No, I don't have the power to actually suspend people, okay?
You can highly recommend it.
There have been some instances on the last day where it's like, this kid is just looking to go home early, even though it's last day of school is usually an early release date anyway. Mm-hmm. It's like, if that's the case, then why did you come to begin with? But we can't say that. So, but no, I don't think I've ever suspended a kid on the last day of school. I do have a fun story about me.
Okay.
You
got suspended on the last day.
Not on the last day of school, and I didn't get suspended necessarily. But it was 3 weeks before the last day of school. So it was like that last month of school. Senior year.
Okay.
And I think we've talked about this. There was the Womanless Beauty Pageant.
I was in one.
You were in it, I believe.
Okay.
And in between like all the whatever y'all did, and then the finale where the judges would be marking up their scores, there was intermission entertainment. Mm-hmm. And the intermission entertainment was myself, Ryan Fitzgerald, and Stephen Gudak doing "Yeah" by Usher, Lil Jon, and Ludacris.
Yeah.
And that song has some not so great phrases that you should be saying ever, but definitely not at a school. So during the rehearsal, we changed the lyrics to be acceptable for the viewing audience at a public school. And then during the performance, we changed them back to the original lyrics.
Might as well.
And the person who was in charge of singing those original lyrics or rapping those original lyrics was myself. Next day, I got called into our principal's office and basically was told, "Hey, I haven't seen you in my office before for anything bad. If you had been in trouble before, you'd probably be suspended, but you're graduating in 3 weeks, so just stay out of trouble for the next 3 weeks."
Nice.
So, yeah.
So you almost got suspended.
I almost got suspended on not just the last day of school, but the last year of school. I mean, just
the last couple weeks. Of
the
last year,
so
almost got suspended.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. What about you?
No, I never got suspended.
I
had anxiety, really horrible. So I was scared to death by the thought of ever getting in trouble.
Yeah,
to the point that I would have a panic attack.
Yeah, I didn't.
Some people would call that goody, and I would just call that, no, I'm going to have a panic attack.
See, for me, it was, no, I'm just scared of my dad. So, I mean.
That's honestly for me, like, well, you think my mom worked at the elementary school I went to, so from kindergarten to 5th grade, my mom would know if I got in trouble before I knew I got in trouble. So, and especially when we were really young at the elementary school, like at least the first couple grades, the principal still spanked you with a paddle.
Yes. And
my mom had to be the person to watch. So I definitely didn't want to be the person that got called in knowing, first off, my mom works here, so I'm a bad reflection of her. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting whooped with a paddle, and my mom's having to watch that.
And then you got to deal with the fallout when you get home. Yes, I mean, just a bad day all around.
So, I saw there was times that I did bad on a grade or something, and my mom would know about how bad I did before I did, and And I was like, oh, well, she's going to let us make it up. You know, we spent, you know, the period today redoing the question stuff. So, yeah, you did that on that too. It's like, I haven't even seen that yet. How do you know? So she told me. It's like, so horrible things like that. Did you have another scene right away? I don't want to keep just taking all the scenes.
No, you take all the scenes, dude. I mean, they were all, I mean, it was just a really enjoyable movie. I didn't have anyone that stood out. They were all really good scenes.
We'll do like a quick splash through things. I feel like this probably falls into the quotes as well, but the Leaning Tower of Cheesa is an amazing thing. I think if you think about this movie, you think probably about Powerline, Perfect Cast, and Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Which that was a big point in their advertising. That was like the ending scene in their trailer. So it's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Because that's what we even talked about whenever we were talking about doing this episode. You're like, I don't think I've ever seen it, but I remember the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Like, we really should have gotten some Cheese Whiz and try to recreate this for the...
Well, that's a question. How do you feel about Cheese Whiz?
I love Cheese Whiz.
I love Cheese Whiz.
I mean, as a current, slash former, trying to be former forever fat kid, or fat person, Cheese Whiz is great. I mean,
it is.
It goes great on crackers. It goes great on anything. I mean,
you know what's bad with Cheese Whiz is whenever you had some, you're coming back tomorrow for some more, and there's that hard jump.
It's at the top.
I always like to squirt that out, rub that in a napkin, like you're discarded. Now it's time for the good stuff.
Yep.
Perfect Cast. Honestly, that's one of the things I'm trying to remember from this movie. I remember trying to, I had them like my fishing pole as a kid trying to redo the Perfect Cast.
Yes.
Obviously, I could not do it. It's kind of like the same way as SpongeBob blowing a bubble.
Right.
You know, I know you stop on your right foot, don't forget it, but at the same time, there's some things inside of that's a little unrealistic if you're not a cartoon. Perfect Cast is pretty close to being able to be done.
Yes.
But that's one thing. Lester's Possum
I enjoyed Lester's Possum Park because you talk about things your dad or your parents would do. Like my dad would definitely want to get the picture.
My mom's the same way.
Definitely, no matter how stupid it looked. I mean, he would want to do the picture, and he'd probably be in the picture with all the possums or with the mascots or whatever. I mean, I remember going to Disney World, and whenever we would take pictures, Dad would just put his arm around the mascot and like tell him a joke or something, and then Mickey.
Well, say like, and I think about it too. Is say like if we had kids right now,
yes,
we think back to Chuck E. Cheese, and think about the animatronic animals and how cool that was for us as kids.
Yes,
but if you were to take kids that would be our age of kids, if we had kids to one now, and they saw that exact same thing, they probably think this is very boring.
Yes.
This is stupid.
Yes.
Like I know Chuck E. Cheese is still out there and people still go there,
Why?
but they're more so for the games and stuff like that at that point. They're not there for animatronics. But yeah, there's that. So that's what I thought about. High Dad's Suit
hit me in the feels.
Yes. I mean, it hit me where like, I remembered that already where I was younger and it still hit me. But even now, especially like where they've been such on a rough patch with each other, they kind of have a little bit of a moment of clarity, and then he brings that up and realizes, oh, wait, this is a little bit of emotion that kind of crosses the line. And there's the silence again. The Bigfoot scene is right in the middle of this with High Dad's Suit. I really thought it was funny, like a pair of headphones land on him and the Bee Gees Staying Alive plays. And it's kind of fitting right now where that's probably at the top of every person's coronavirus playlist on their phone. I know there's been a big meme going around with that playing, a little clip. So I feel like that's something that, it's probably at the top of the charts right now. They're probably getting a little bit of change from that. I had to go back and rewatch this scene today to remember exactly what's happening. Because it's the turning point where they finally... Max opens up to his dad again.
Yes.
Everything's going wrong that could go wrong. Their car is floating down the river. They're literally sitting on top of the car. But at that moment, they finally open up and Max tells him about there's this girl, Roxanne, that I want, I really like. And, I told her I was going to do this and I don't know why I'm so stupid to tell her this. And they have a big emotional moment. And then they come up on a waterfall. And it just so happens they go over the waterfall. Yeah. First, Goofy tries to save Max. He does save him. But then he goes flying out of the car, and I guess it's like their tent or whatever, makes a big parachute. And now Max is floating over, and Goofy is literally just hanging on from the fishing pole, and Max is holding it. And Goofy has this look on his eyes that I can only describe best as the way that my golden retriever looks at me. And it's fitting because he's a dog, but at the same time, there's that emotion where he just blankly stares at you, and you know that thing loves you at that moment.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the cork handle comes undone and Goofy falls. In that split second, Max finally does the perfect cast. He's never been able to nail it before, but he gets it, real quick, real fast, throws it into this mist, hoping that it's going to get something.
Yeah.
You wait for a couple of seconds, and then finally there's some tension on the line. And there's his dad as he's winding him back up.
Which is a good thing too, because it would have been really downer.
Yeah, it really would have.
Goofy would have died there.
But from there, Goofy's like, all right, well, we got to get you to the Powerline, concert. Got to get you on the TV so the girl don't think you're a liar. So that was a big thing. We'll continue forward. Like the Powerline concerts is an awesome kind of finishing thing it's a big, you've been talking about the whole movie. You meet Powerline, they get on the stage with Powerline. Max isn't embarrassed to be on stage with his dad at Powerline at this point. He's like, Dad, do the perfect cast. And so, of course, it fits perfectly with the song where you can do some awesome dance moves.
Of course, yeah.
So he does all that. For this, it really reminded me of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was, like I said, he can embarrass me sometimes the same way any parent could for their kid. But especially when I reached this age, probably high school age especially, my dad was the one that would kind of go over and help me with things. My dad's always been kind of a romantic type guy, but not one that overly showed it all the time. But he would, like, the things that I would see at home about things he would do for my mom or gifts or different things, that somehow, that was instilled in me, not by him teaching me that, but just by me seeing that. So I remember having a girlfriend for the first time that was kind of, I say you call it serious. We both were in high school or whatever, but she went to a different school. And I was like, well, I want to send her flowers for Valentine's Day. And my dad's like, well, here, let me help you. And he goes and contacts person and helps me pay for them, to send this girl flowers. And I remember there was this time Erica and I had just started dating not too long before, and she was living in Charlotte. And I really was hoping she would come into town for my birthday, but she couldn't.
Right.
There was all these other things. But my dad and her went back and forth and had the secret thing going on where he planned it out where she could come, she could stay for the weekend, and had this whole ordeal. So on my birthday here, I'm laying on the couch, and all of a sudden she shows up at the door.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
So I don't know. I think about that and just think about how my dad, he took us to some concerts too as I got a little bit older. But just to think about just that relationship I had with him and him wanting the best for me the same way Goofy's wanting the best for Max. And I totally didn't understand that and disagreed sometimes. But I don't know. Great things there. Anything else you got before we jump on to the best quotes and start plowing our way through the rest of this fella?
Plow through the best quotes, man. It was a great run through of the movie. Great ending scene. So really good stuff there. So best quotes. I think your first one is the one that we've talked about. Hey, yep. Max, look, it's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Yes. Another one that's random, but I remember I've quoted it randomly in my life. Is Goofy says, "How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?" That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Think about that. Quality question. Max says, "It's Powerline. It's only Powerline, Dad, the biggest rock star on the planet." And Goofy says, "Not bigger than Xavier Cugat, the Mambo King. Everybody Mambo." And he tries to mambo around the room. Goofy says, "Hey, Maxie, let's play a game. You think of someone, and I'll try to guess who it is, man or woman." And Max says, "Oh, man. Man. That's a toughie. Let's see. Walt Disney." He said, "Right."
Right.
The only other one I had was, it stood up me and I laughed because they were at the music park. And he says, the possum itself says, "Howdy, folks. Who's your favorite possum?"
That kills me. I love it. I love it.
I didn't really have anything else there's other quotes in the movie, but I didn't want to overdo it.
Well, you took my best one, which was the Leaning Tower of Cheesa. Also, the Walt Disney line was something that did stand out to me as well. So, but those are great quotes, and chime in, folks, if you have a favorite quote from the movie. Chime in.
To hear it.
We'd love to hear it as well. So let's jump into our fun facts.
What you got? How about you start us off with some fun facts? I've been plowing through this.
Well, you kind of been taking the lead because this is something that you actually have a better memory of this growing up.
Yep.
Whereas I did not, obviously. So I'm going to let you kind of take the lead on this a little bit. So, and it's all good. Let's see here on my...
We typically do 6. You want to stick with that?
We'll do 3 apiece.
3 and 3?
All right. So this was directed by Kevin Lima, and it was his director debut. He would go on to direct 3 other animated Disney movies: Tarzan, Enchanted, and 102 Dalmatians.
That is correct, sir. One that you brought up before we started recording, but Jason Marsden played more than one animal in his whole career. He played the voice of Max. He also played Thackeray Binks, the voice as a cat in Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
He reprised his role as Max many times and was the voice of Kovu in The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
Oh, he was Kovu?
Yeah, he was Kovu.
Wow, he was Romeo.
He's also done other animal.
He was Disney's version of Romeo.
Yeah, he's done a lot of other animal
and he was
characters.
Eric's best friend in Boy Meets World.
Yes, and he also dated DJ in Full House.
in Boy Meets World, his character's name was Jason Morrison.
It was.
I mean, so, Powerline is the band in the movie. The big the main band that everyone loved. Combination of Bobby Brown, Prince, and Michael Jackson. Bobby Brown was originally slated to provide Powerline's voice, but he was fired due to his substance abuse issues at the time. And the costume worn by Powerline is based on the hazmat suits worn by the band Devo in the late 70s.
My next one is PJ. His initials, which I watched, like I said, I loved Goof Troop growing up, so I loved PJ. I loved his little sister's name was Pistol. I thought that was a great name for a kid.
Great, yes.
PJ's initial stands for something very simple. He's named after his father. His name is Pete Jr.
Yes.
I totally didn't know that until I looked that up today.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Let's see. My last one. Let's see. There's some really good ones here. All right, let's go. This is the first theatrically released animated film to star Wallace Shawn. Later, he would go on to voice Rex in the Toy Story films, The Labrador MC and All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, Principal Strickler in Teacher's Pet in 2004, Gilbert Huff in The Incredibles, Mr. Fetchit the Dog in Chicken Little, Monk in Happily in Ever After, and Mr. Woodley in Animal Crackers.
See?
Yes. So, Wallace Shawn's great.
Two other things. I'll throw this one as like a little fun fact, but according to the road trip map that they're using in this movie, it's best assumed that Goofy lives in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
They were able to base that off of that. But this other one I want to throw in there says, unlike most Disney characters, Max actually ages over time. In his first appearance in Goof Troop, he was a preteen. In this movie, he was a high school student. And then the following movie, he's heading off to college. Have you ever watched that one?
An extremely goofy movie. Yeah, it was recommended. I've never seen that one. So.
It hit right at the time that I was obviously moving up just like Max and got into skateboarding. It's talking about skateboarding. Goofy is also going back to college. So I'd recommend it. It's fun. If you like this one, go watch that one. It's fun too. But
I've got a little bonus fact.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not really a fact, but we talked about how, I'd not really, didn't think I'd ever seen it really. Rob Paulson, who's the voice of PJ, he's also, I think, Wacko in Animaniacs.
And Raphael.
Donatello. Rob Paulson has admitted that he's never seen the movie in its entirety. And
he's also Pinky.
And he was in it.
That's true.
So,
well, like, I've listened, Rob Paulson's been on a lot of podcasts. If you're ever into voice acting, he's one of the main ones that probably voiced a lot of your childhood. It's fun to listen to him talk about things because a lot of the stuff that they voice, especially with cartoons, like back then when you had to hand draw everything, by the time it actually came out, it'd be years later from whenever they actually recorded their parts. So a lot of them didn't see a lot of stuff they were involved in. Some did, but not all. You ready to head over to social media shout-outs?
Yes, and I have one.
Okay, go for it.
So this is Ryan Besessi on Twitter. He responded to our question yesterday, what are your thoughts, memories of this movie, with this one quote. And it's not even a quote from the movie. I think it's a possible future quote. You ever eat canned soup heated by a cigarette lighter? I have. Max in rehab.
The funny part is, now most cars don't even come with cigarette lighters.
So no, they don't, because smoking is wrong.
You wouldn't even know that you could cook soup on a cigarette lighter. But that is funny, Ryan. From Facebook, Julie Stewart said that she loves this movie. Her and her brother Trey Dorman watched it over and over and over. Dawn Hayes says this is one of her favorite Disney films. Loved the music in it. It was different.
Got a little thing here. If you take all the music out, it's a 78-minute movie. But if you take all the music out, it's only 62 minutes long. That's 18 minutes of music. I mean, that's...
Your math is wrong somewhere.
No.
You said 70-something and then it was 60-something.
78 minutes long.
78. Okay.
But if you take the music out, it's only 62. So that's 18 minutes. That's basically a fourth of the movie is music.
It's not 18 minutes.
78 minus 62 is 18. Yeah.
Because 8 minus 2 is
not 18, 16. Sorry.
Okay.
16. I am doing math wrong.
That's how math genius.
That's how math works. Sorry.
Sometimes math, I just don't hear things.
16 minutes. Sorry. I was rounding up in my head to 80 for some reason.
Either way.
Still,
either way.
A big chunk of the movie is music. So.
Over on Instagram, Allison shared said, Josh and I had this on VHS and watched it probably 200 times. I loved when they went to the Possum Park and at the end when they perform Eye to Eye. A true classic.
True classic.
That custom 150. Old Dave Farrell.
He
said, I remember the Bigfoot scene. I rewind it and watched that scene over and over. Will Howard, he sent me a message, said, the perfect cast. Powerline, the greatest rock star on the planet. the Possum Jamboree. I could go on and on. And Big John Parker sent me a message said the Leaning Tower of Jesus. We posted something today too or I guess, I don't know, I did it on Instagram and Facebook, but Alexa Bliss, the wrestler, is
yes.
Huge. First off, she's a huge Disney fan, but she loves the Goofy movie.
Mm-hmm.
I went and tried to find some different clips, something to post today. All I can find was pictures with different shirts on or whatever, but I know she's done stuff in her stories before, either watching the movie or dancing like this from the movie. I don't know, fun stuff.
That is really cool. So
that's all I had.
All right, cool. Well, friends, we appreciate you tuning in to this podcast. We want to give a big thanks to Rickie, Liles, and Tim Hutchinson. Rickie, our producer. Tim, who did research on this movie for me specifically. I don't think he did any for you because I didn't share it with you.
It's okay.
But we hope you enjoyed this discussion as much as we did, and that you are as pumped as we are for whatever random shenanigans we will get into on a week-to-week basis. That's not even scripted. I came up with that.
That was great.
That was a great...
Quit scripting live, folks.
Next week, in honor of WrestleMania, which now is taking place over 2 nights, mainly because...
Is it?
Yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday night now.
I think I'm going to watch it this year. I got to get WWE Network again to watch it.
We're not supposed to watch it at my house, but then again, we're probably not supposed to be doing this together either. So
what are you talking about? You're like 6 feet over there.
Yeah, well, we're checking on each other's...
That's why my head's so small on the Facebook.
Checking on each other's well-being here. But next week, we will be talking about the top 5 WrestleMania moments.
Mm-hmm.
And we came up with a really good possible topic to go into. We love our music episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done love songs, we've done guilty pleasures, we've done Christmas music, we've done summer music. In 2 weeks, we're doing Disney songs.
Top 5 each.
Well, I don't know if we're doing top 5. Didn't we talk about doing just a random...
Well, a 5 count, right?
I
thought we need a number because we'll go on forever.
Well, I think we were going to set some rules where we can only pick one from each movie or something. That way we didn't have it all dominated by Lion King, Aladdin, or whatever.
Well, it's not necessarily our top favorite of all time.
Yeah, this is just...
We are going to do another, I think...
We're going to do a Disney bracket with Disney songs at some point.
More so that it'll just be a fun time to talk about some of our favorite Disney songs.
But another music episode we'll probably do, and we might even look into doing it in May, June, whenever, when we have an opening, is wrestling entrance music. And there's some classics there. So, but we appreciate it. Next week, WrestleMania moments. And until next time, stay as cool as the other side of the pillow. And we'll catch you next week on the What Show.
What the
Bye.